Back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something a little interesting. I'm going to talk about 5 things that I absolutely hate about this car behind me right here. My 1999 Camaro Z28. It's 22 years old, so there's a lot of things to hate about this thing. This is going to be easy. Started. With thing number 1. First thing, as you could see when I tried to start it, the cam sensor does not like to start. The wiring in these things are pretty shoddy. It's a 90s GM car, wiring's all just junk basically, but we're working with what we got here, you know? With that being said, everything does work, but it's just not perfect, you know? That's the main wiring issue with the car, is the cam sensor wiring harness. It goes to the ECM, and it doesn't always work right. So it is an LS2 with the cam sensor in the front of the motor, but I have the proper wiring harness on it and everything to flip the A and C wires, so that's just how that's gonna go. I've tried a bunch of different options, like 6 new cam sensors, 3 or 4 different new harnesses. That's just how it's gonna go. The second thing that I absolutely hate about this thing, and it makes it hard to see during bright daylight, is the fact that the dash pad is gone. Now when I went under the hood there and under the dash, I took the whole dash out to remove the whole AC and heat system, just to lose some weight, and none of it really worked anyways. So like when I was taking the LS1 out of this car and put the LS2 in it, I went ahead and just like cut the AC lines, and I'll open the hood here, prove there's no AC or anything in it. So right down here where the AC compressor would be, it's nothing down there. There's the BMR suspension block off plate for it. So there's no AC in it. So when I was taking the dash out to take all the AC components out of it, here, see inside here, this part of the dash in here pulled up, and it completely shattered the upper dash pad that was up there. It's just a brittle thin plastic that Chevy did terrible with, and a lot of car companies do terrible with. And just, it's a 22-year-old car sitting in the sun for years, and they snap like a potato chip, if I'm honest. So that's the second thing that I absolutely hate about this thing, is there's no dash pad in it, and new ones cost like $600 to put in. Now the third thing that I absolutely hate about this car is the rear end that is made of glass. Yes, it still has the 10 bolt, and yes, that is a 28 by 275 Mickey Thompson ET Street Radial Pro. 15-inch wheel, 4-star 14s. But the 10 bolt is still hanging on there. We've only been 11 O's with a 157 60 foot, so that's not too bad. But I do need to update that rear end as soon as possible. Item number 4 that I absolutely hate about this car is just the cheap 20-year-old 90s GM plasticky everything. You can even see over here. I'm gonna lean in here, move this mask out the way. The seats, like even the leather is like hard and just breaks. It's brittle, it's junk. Like all the squeaking, like that's just fantastic. Everything when the car runs, because it is a 6-liter with a cam, all this loud exhaust and everything rattles. And even when you shut the door, so Fbodies, if anyone knows, when you shut the door and the window is down inside the door and not up, it makes a wonderful noise. The window just like flapping back and forth in there, it's just disgusting. The 5th thing that absolutely bugs me about this car is the ride quality. Now, it's mostly my fault. I put the springs and the shocks on it and I lowered it a lot, and that just makes it ride so bad. At about 65, 70 mile an hour, it starts to shake like the Space Shuttle Columbia. It's ridiculous. You know, when people make those memes about their shit box, you know, when they get above 70 mile an hour, it shakes like the Space Shuttle Columbia. This thing actually does that. It's kind of ridiculous. But part of that is also in part due to the wheels and tires that are not balanced. There's no weights around anywhere around here, no weights on the inside stuck in. It's just unbalanced. So that's to be expected, you know. And the reason, before I get a bunch of hate for not balancing these things and driving on the street, is you can't fit a weight anywhere inside there, and I'm absolutely not going to have anyone hammer one onto the rim. That's just not going to happen. And now a quick little bonus thing, we'll call it a 6th thing that I hate about this car, is the cosmetics, the paint, just the horrendous quality of just all the paint and trim about this car. It's ridiculous. Now this thing did sit outside for like 4 years in some guy's front yard, so it got beat pretty bad. When I bought it, it was buried up to the frame, or the chassis. You know, the rear end was covered, the front K-member was covered in dirt. It was just horrendous, and you can tell when it sat out in the sun, it has this disgusting snot rocket here coming down the front of it from where this emblem melted off in the sun for sitting there for 4 years. It's a shame this thing had to go through so much, you know, torment. But guy was like ex-military. When I bought it from him, he was losing his house. He needed the money to pay the mortgage. He actually had this car on the Autobahn at one point years ago. So I think that's actually pretty cool. But you can see here, I don't know if you could see the little spiderweb cracks up in the bumper up here. Paint isn't too bad in some places. It can be buffed and fixed up, paint corrected, but then more sun wear, just horrendous. There's hair flying on this car. Now this is the big spot. All this, you can see where the clear coat is just disappeared along this entire quarter panel here. It's coming off. Look at these giant chunks. Like, honestly, that's terrible. Oh my God. The whole wing here is just bubbling up, and just the clear coat's like gone. So, I mean, taillights look pretty good. Bumper looks actually okay. It's just kind of, the car's really disgusting right now and dirty, so I'll tell you that. This quarter panel's fine. Keep the LS nasty. The something else is notorious for these cars is the sail panel here bubbling, because the glue they use to glue it together to the car comes up through the paint over the years. There's nothing you can do about it. You can keep this car in the garage in storage for 20 years and they will still bubble. This thing doesn't have as much sun wear. Must have been covered by a tree a little bit or something. But headlights, got these last year for Christmas. Those are pretty cool. Ugly little yellow blinkers here, side markers, whatever you want to call them. I did take the whole bumper bar here off for when you, so you don't ding your door or whatever. I don't know why they put them on. I think that's why they put them on. But the whole thing across the side of the car is now gone. It's not a big red rubber strip there anymore, so that's nice. I put those little LSX trim pieces on. I thought they were pretty cool. Another big thing is when I got this car, this leaked like crazy. It was a freaking lake in the back hatch every day after it rained. So I RTV'd it like a young idiot that I was, and now that's permanently in there. So there it is. That's 5 things, maybe 6 things that I actually really hate about my 99 Z28. It's just a really great car if I'm honest, but some of those things make it really terrible. Now don't get me wrong, I love this car. It's great, it's fantastic. I would never get, you know, if I were to start again, I would start with this car again. It's been really amazing. It's really fast. So yeah, that's it. 5 things that I hate about this car.